All right, America, it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. This week, we're talking about the Democrats, and they're here to help themselves. Or are they? The Urban Conservative Podcast starts right around now.
Welcome to the Urban Conservative Podcast, where we do not believe that avocado toast can save the planet or the world will end, because cars use gasoline. You won't hear that Wi-Fi is a basic human right, or that billionaires are secretly supervillains. Here, we do not believe that electric cars run on hopes and dreams. You also won't hear that anyone who disagrees with us is a fascist, or that socialism will make everyone rich. You won't be gender affirmed or offered any opportunity to share your preferred pronouns. If this causes you any discomfort, please rest assured that we couldn't possibly care less. For everyone else, thank you, and please stand by.
My fellow Americans, it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. This is without a doubt the best podcast on the internet. It's about to go down here on the Urban Conservative.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's Monday night. That means it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, rocking with my twin brother from the same mother, no other, Raheem Soto. This is the Urban Conservative. Our mission is to share conservative values and principles, as well as the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across this great nation of ours. We do that via this podcast, and we be in them streets. Speaking of being in them streets, I know you about to be in them streets in a very major way, bro. If you want to jump on and let folks know about that.
Well, first and foremost, hope everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day. Shouts out to all the moms. And I have to say, especially the foster moms, bro, because that's a soft spot for them. So I have to send a shout out to all of the foster moms. All of the stepmoms and foster moms out there. Hope you guys, all the moms, but special place for us with the foster parents. So hope you guys enjoy Mother's Day. And like my brother said, I guess we do the shameless plug thing now. Check out my campaign for Suffolk County Legislative District 2. I'm running for the seat, November election. Safer, more affordable East End. We want to keep families here. We want to keep our elderly population taken care of. And obviously, we want to get a fair return on our investment for all of the money that we're worth to the county. We want to get more resources here on the East End and keep our communities beautiful and affordable. So to help do that, you can visit soto4suffolk.com. That is SOTO for the proper way, not the number. It's a pet peeve. I don't know why people put the number 4. But anyway, soto4suffolk.com is the website. That's where you could go to support the campaign. And that's what it is. Shameless plug done, bro. Now let's get to the title of this podcast, because we was just off the air and I was like, yo, what are we actually talking about here? Because I don't it seems like they're here to help. Let's deal with the here to help part first. Let's deal with that.
So the general consensus that I hear from people, especially from folks that are virulently against the Republican Party, they always say the Democrats are for the working class. The Democrats are here to help the people. The Democrats are the ones that take care of the working class and the poor. And it just so happens that you have people like in North Carolina. I don't know if y'all have this. No, y'all got Al Sharpton in New York and roundabout them parts. But you have people like that pretend to be for the people. And I think that that's creating this perception that the Democrat Party is for the working class, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's true. And the other part to this is the Democrat Party. There's a point in time where things, and I guess pun or no pun intended, I forget which one it is, but they went left at some point where there's almost
that was pun intended.
Yeah. Okay, well then pun intended. But there's a space now where it's as a minority, as an intellectual, somebody that is, let's just say, trying to be unemotionally invested into policy issues, it has become clearly apparent that they have went somewhere else with things. So the idea that they were here to help, I think it has its inception too. A lot of the 60s and 70s, they always showed up with food, right? I don't know if you want to speak to that a little bit, but I remember reading a lot of historical political stuff, just looking back at how things went in municipal elections and state and federal elections. And Democrats always were the party that would show up with the sandwiches and set up the soup kitchens but they would also give you the pamphlet.
Right. And I noticed that now while I'm out and about, I noticed that there is a relationship between Airfinger, quote, nonprofit, community-based and community service organizations and the Democrat Party, which I think is a weakness that Republicans have. We're not seen as on the ground solution oriented as it relates to the immediate needs of people, right? Like you don't see conservatives out there with the blankets and the turkeys on Thanksgiving.
Well, you do. You know what? I'm a push back on that a little bit.
But that's a perception.
I think you do. I just think we do it quietly. It's odd because it's odd because you think about it like this. You go, okay, if the idea is that the Democrats are the party of the working people, you would think the policy positions would match the philosophy. And part of our study, when that comes up that, how could you guys be Black Republicans? And the Republican Party is, no matter what facts you bring up, they dispute them with emotion. So the idea that the Democrat Party was the party of the working class and, how could you, and like I said, how could you be a Black Republican now in these days? The party's changed so much. And it really hasn't. Not as much as the left. The right hasn't changed as much. And that's not to say it hasn't changed. That's to say it hasn't changed in its core principles of family, faith, and freedom, right? Small but effective limited government, low taxes, free market ideas, things of these things. These are the core principles that have not changed with the Republican Party. Now, the demographics, some of the social issues, and the party position, if you will, on some of these social issues have changed over time, right? So my biggest thing is this. Is how can we, right? And why is this graphic still up? How can we as a party communicate some of our ideas in a more palatable way? I think the Democrats do. They've done historically a good job at that, right? Tapping into emotions. Now that's coming back to bite them, right? Because on the surface, it seems like they're doing this to be helpful, right? But study shows that's not the case. Reality is going to determine that ends up not being the case. They're there to help, like a wolf in a hen house is there to help, the chickens lay eggs. That's how they're there to help.
So let me start out, and I'm going to start out with this example, right? The reason I want to start out, hold on, let me turn the audio of this off. The reason I want to start out with this example is this guy right here. Hold on, let me go like that, okay? The reason I want to start with this example is because it on its face, it would appear, like we said, that the Democrats are essentially there. They want to help. They're there to help people. And in the case of this guy who is a New York State senator, he is now in trouble. And we'll be careful with the wording so we don't get dinged on YouTube. But the fact of the matter is he voted for a piece of legislation that the New York State used to go against President Trump. Now he's in the crossfire, right? He's in the what do you call that? In the eye, the reticle is on him. He's a Brooklyn state senator, claims the law that allowed a grape lawsuit against him to move forward was unconstitutional, even though he actually voted for the legislation and then bragged about it. And court records this month, the notoriously hot-headed Kevin Parker formally denied the allegations against him. Quote, I voted in favor of the Adult Survivors Act to ensure all New Yorkers can seek justice and be heard. He wrote part of the legislation, which was also passed by the Assembly, signed into law by Hochul in 2022, and expired in November of 2023. But now that it's being brought up against him, or was being used against him, all of a sudden now it's unconstitutional. And that's my point. I'm saying that they're there to help. Oh, we're there to help all survivors. We're there to believe all women until you get accused. Until it's
here's it. I think these are okay. So we want to be clear about this for the sake of the conversation, for the listeners to understand. The whole all this doesn't apply to all Democrats. Your everyday hardworking person that happens to be a Democrat may not fit in this narrative that we're looking at. They may not behave this way, right?
But fair point.
The reality of it is that if you say, here's a law, I'm going to sign this law, I'm going to advocate for this law, and we're going to put a law into place, then it turns around on you because you are in front of said law, and then go, hey, that's unconstitutional. What? How does this philosophically work? How does this intellectually work? Let's remove the emotion from this and just deal with the facts. And this is a repetitive, thing happening on the left. Now, I'm not suggesting that it doesn't happen on the right, but this is the status quo, unfortunately, for the political left at large. And Ali, I have to insert here because for those Democrats that are listening to this, we know that you may not be down with this. I don't want to put everybody in the bucket with y'all because you can't act like your man didn't get caught out there just now. To put it in simple terms, just have to put it simply. Your man got caught just now. We're going to sign this law, and then you using it to go after President Trump. And it's almost like with Letitia James here. So you go after Trump based on something. We have, and this blows my mind, is that we have video footage, right? People can play back our podcast and say, you said this, Raheem. You said this, Ali. You said this. And then we have to be able to defend or explain or whatever it is with what we said. And for some reason with Democrats, they don't get held to what they say. It's uncanny. It's just uncanny. You could there you go. There you go. So she got to say and run on, it's on video, I'm going to get Trump. If you elect me, I'll get Trump. And she won.
Based on I'm going to get Trump.
So when we're talking about this, if you are on the opposing side of this, we would love to hear from you because I would like to know what the flip side to that is. What Republican ran on, I'm going to get somebody else? I just, can we say Trump ran on, I'm going to lock Hillary up? Did he run on that?
I mean, it was a chance. Let's just be it. I can't say he did it, but
before we go to commercial break on this, right? So apparently it's seen. It could be seen that they're here to help and that they do come in the guise of being here to help. But are they really helping themselves? Right. And when we say helping themselves, there's a couple of different things we're going to look at in this next segment. We're going to go to commercial break real quick. Do us a favor, hit that like, follow, subscribe. You're tapped into the Urban Conservative Podcast on a Monday night. Please roll us to commercial, bro.
Carry Discount and Capital Appliance Repair is your trusted partner for appliance repairs and home services. When you're dealing with a malfunctioning refrigerator, dishwasher, washer, or dryer, we have the expertise to keep you running smooth. Visit us online or call 919-468-5860 today for Carry Discount and Capital Appliance Repair.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you tapped into the Urban Conservative Podcast right here on a beautiful Monday night. It is Monday, May 12th, 2025. We hope you're all doing well. Make sure to visit the website, tuconservative.com. That's where you can support what we do here at the Urban Conservative. Let's continue this because we got the power couple You got the this
So
is
you
looks like a
asked this
terrible
question, bro.
rom-com. What?
So you asked this question, like, are they really here to help? Are they helping themselves? I think politically, the Democrats aren't doing themselves any favor, but you got to admit, financially, they are helping the hell out of themselves. Like people like
Apparently
AOC.
so. Apparently so.
You're going to fly first class. And then you had Bernie, when asked to defend flying first class, he was like, what am I supposed to do? Wait in line? I was like, yo,
all right, come
like
on.
the true
this
elitist,
is,
bro.
But this is why, right? I personally, the more the all right, I know some hardworking Democrats, right? Regular people that are Democrats that are in local municipal government. I know some hardworking Republicans, right? And we know leadership at a fair amount of levels, politically speaking, right? We got some numbers in the Rolodex. There's some people we know, right? And we know these people. So the idea that you have people like Bernie and AOC yelling at millionaires and billionaires, it is awkward to me, bro. It's awkward to me that people could be down with them and listen to them and watch them, and then this comes out and it doesn't that doesn't bother y'all.
So here's the interesting thing, right? My RNC committee woman happened to be flying back from DC. Guess who was sitting 3 seats behind her?
I don't know.
Congresswoman Alma Adams. Okay. Congresswoman Adams, although she's my political opponent, I don't agree with her politics and the way she represents. She was on a commercial flight sitting in the commercial area with everybody else. So
as she should be. But listen, I'm not even opposed to the business class. But don't lecture me about the end of the world and you on an airplane. I don't know how serious you are about what you're espousing.
How dare a millionaire or a billionaire who flies in private jets talk about what the average person is going through in this country? Let me be clear. I'm here to help the everyday people. It's my Bernie impression.
So here's the issue though. Are you really against what Bernie's saying here? You think I'm going to be sitting in line at United? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. Do you not respect that a little bit?
I mean, look, if you've got the means to not wait in line, so let me put it to you this way.
So why not have that philosophy with everything though?
So let me put it to you this way. I happen to get that skip the line thing at Carowinds.
It was amazing.
Yo, I was kind of like, I think I'm gonna give you all the extra $80 from now on. Have
you ever upgraded a flight before? Why are you so my thing is, I guess the fundamental argument here, right, is that if you're espousing socialism, you're espousing Marxism, coded Marxism, and you're a filthy rich capitalist, that's just where it's like a turnoff for me. It's just like, I want to give you some points, but you know what you're promoting. I know what you're promoting. And the thing is for a quote like that to come out, Ali, if I was a Democrat, I'd feel like that was him spitting in my eye. Right? That's just spitting in my face at that point. Come on, bro. You can't say that.
The other thing is when you look at AOC, she went into Congress, essentially couldn't afford an apartment in DC. Now to be worth a couple of $1 million. Now in her district, the frustration with her is reaching a breaking point. Fed up Queens and Bronx constituents were telling the New York Post that they're sick and tired of being second fiddle to the jet-setting socialist primary focus, quote, herself. The district office in the Bronx and Queens offer little to justify the $1.9 million she gets to run them. One is only open a single weekday, and the other is closed on Fridays with phones that go unanswered. Constituents are urged to discuss their problems by appointment only. Her town halls used to be monthly events. Now they're held once in a blue moon. There's virtually no way to get a question in.
Yeah, but you know what I'd be curious about? Because in contrast to this, right? In contrast to this, so I look at a congressman that I know, and I look at his social media, and I look at the town halls that he does, and I look at the vitriol and the anger and the total disrespect and just derogatory is not even I would need to be able to curse to express to you how nasty some of the people are on social media, right? To the congressman who posts every day, like I know this guy. You could call him, he's gonna make an appointment with you, he's gonna take your phone call, like all of these things are, and so I wonder where the outrage is for them. Is it that the people in their district that's so blue that they don't get, like, where is the outrage for a person like that who you can't even make an appointment with because in their mind they're a celebrity? They're not a public servant. They're a celebrity. I'm AOC. Like, what does that even mean? You got elected to do a job. Like you have a job. Like, what are you talking about?
So I asked somebody this question earlier today, a friend of mine that's a Democrat, and that we were talking about this, and I'm like, so explain it, justify it to me. And but here's what my question was. Name the piece of legislation that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has presented, has made it through committee, and has been signed. Name that piece of legislation. And you know what you're going to find out?
Okay, in all fairness, I couldn't name one even if there was. It sounds like there isn't going to be one the way you said that. But even if there was one, I couldn't tell. What do you got?
Not a daggone thing, bro. She's done nothing. She's actually the most useless person in Congress. She between her and Jasmine Crockett, they've done nothing.
And then so if this is a team sport, because I want to make sure that we're clear about this, Ali. Especially, we have to separate these things and say we're talking about national politics. And I want y'all to understand that this changes when we start to zoom into more local affairs, right? And I say that because I think about the people that I know in county government. And I'm not just saying I'm saying this as a candidate, but I'm being honest, Ali. Just from being involved in what I'm involved with in my day-to-day life and knowing the actual lives of some of the people that represent us here in the county, these are good people, bro.
Right on.
Like these are good people. Like they're hardworking, they're family people. They like I don't understand the acceptance of ineffective governance, right? Like, so you basically have a symbolic seat, and because you're on TV and got social media, you think you're a celebrity. That's a big problem. So now so when we say the Democrats are there they're here to help themselves, it's also ego they're serving. Because why is she carrying herself like she's like, why do the media has done a good job of convincing these people they're celebrity. And I'll leave it at that. And they're not. And you shouldn't be looked at that way. One love.
And I'll just say this on the tail end, and you can go look at Fox, you can go look at CNN, you can go look at wherever. The Democrat rating is underwater. Last Fox News national poll at 41% favorable, 56% unfavorable. That's April 18th through the 21st. That's an all-time low for Democrats just on the Fox News polling. So I think we gotta look at this question.
Ali, let me ask you this. Let me ask one quick thing to the viewers and to the listeners. And I'm concerned about this, right? Because especially where I'm running, I don't know if you've seen this in a lot of the heavy Democrat controlled districts, but there's a manipulation of our elderly population that I'm not comfortable with.
You're talking about as it relates to them scaring them about Social Security and Medicaid
and everything else under the sun. Everything else under the sun. It is. Even if you're an independent voter, if you're unaffiliated, right? I'm saying this as a human being that it is almost. I'm looking for an adjective. It is almost invasive marketing, right? It's like malicious manipulation, malicious emotional manipulation, Ali. It is terrifying. And if you see some of the people that are out protesting, and which they have the right to do. I'm all for that. Get out there with your signs, whatever that is, do all of that about everything that this is America. You are free to do that. But I don't like the manipulation that the party's done. I don't like it. I think the media and the Democrat Party at the level we're talking about, not necessarily at our local levels, but at this state level, the DNC level. I think it's a shame how the media has allowed their very disgusting, untrue messaging to assault the minds of our older generation. And you talked about that when you were running for Congress, that there were communities that you would go to and you would almost have to just throw your hands up, because it's like, look, I'm good. Like, I believe that, Trump's going to lock black people up. Like, it's like, I believe that. Like,
nah, for
I
real.
believe. Like, and it's unfortunate, but when you see, like, when you confront that, it's like there's not a shot in even having a reasonable conversation to tell these people that's not the case. Like, there's people promoting right now that Donald Trump is in the mix of he's going to lock up every single Hispanic person. I've heard that said out here. Hey, they're going to start arresting kids at schools. They're going to start coming, and none of this has happened. We're 100 and something days in, and the fear mongering is absolutely, it's a terrible, terrible tactic to use. So, bro, we're about at the.
I think on the tail end, bro, as we wrap this up, I just want folks to recognize one thing, and I think you hit the nail on the head, is that it's not the rank and file, hardworking, blue collar, everyday person out there that is not helping. It is the Democrat leadership, the elite, the fake news media. It is that cabal of people on the left that are trying to push this country into an agenda where they are raiding ICE facilities as sitting Congress people and mayors trying to advocate for.
Hold on, I'm glad you brought that up. We got 3 minutes, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is absolute goofballery with the crime in Newark. For you to be going in and pushing your way into an ICE facility to make headlines because you want to run for governor, and like, I get it. You got a connection to hip hop and you're the mayor of Newark, but Newark has not made any massive improvements under your tenure. If the criteria is that you're a black mayor and then we're going to stop there and not do a performance audit, then what are we doing here? That's just not the adult thing to do. But under a performance audit, we go look at the job you've done. This is clearly a political tactic on your part.
Yeah.
This is Democrats. Yeah. Like, bro, what are you doing? You did all of that to get the handcuff, like, because there's going to be a demographic of people, and there is right now. Free Ras Baraka, free Ras. Like, why?
Nah, you know what? When you talked about the city, right? And you know what song popped into my head? The city said, "I am still thirsty." I don't know why that popped into my head.
Because you're gonna go in front of, do all of this to get in front of cameras for a political purpose, right? It's breaking federal law. You broke the law. You know that,
right? You're not supposed to be doing that.
You got a legal department as a mayor of a major city. You had legal tell you, like, or you didn't, which is a problem. So look, do you understand the issue, right? I hope y'all are listening. Or you didn't, and you just cooked. So it's either a strategic play or a harebrained scheme.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean towards harebrained. I'm gonna lean towards harebrained scheme.
I would not, because you got Senator, what's his name, that flew down to Nicaragua. These people are really backing. This is the play that they're backing. This is why I said they're not they're helping themselves make a fool of themselves. They're flying down to Venezuela and all these other places to go talk to migrants, and they're defending. Like, right now, the people that are locked up isn't grandma that's on the farm. The people that are locked up are hardcore criminals.
That's it.
Like, that's not good. Not good. Not good. There's no way to defend it. Who was that, sir?
That was Roly Poly Martin with the "Don't Blame Me, I Voted for the Black Woman" t-shirt. So we will not blame you for low inflation, low gas, secure border. We will not blame.
Wait, put that back up there. That's what his shirt said.
Yeah, his shirt said, "Don't blame me, I voted for the Black woman." That's what his shirt said. Hold on, here you go. I'll put it back up one time for you. Here you go. That's what it says. "Don't blame me, I voted for the Black woman." It's just idiotic.
Don't blame me, I voted for the Black. All right, well, listen, bro, I appreciate everybody for tapping in with us on this beautiful Monday night, but let's just be honest. At this point, my recommendation is get unaffiliated. Listen to candidates because the reality is, Ali, is that this national body politic is influencing how people are voting in municipal elections, and we're starting to see the results of bad policy coming to fruition in a lot of municipalities at a local level that are, Democrat controlled communities. Even here,
we got it going on here. The police chief just got a $300,000 settlement from a closed session with the majority Democrat. You got one Republican right now on Charlotte City Council, and they just gave the chief $300,000 because he threatened to file a lawsuit because a Republican said, "I'm going to hold you accountable." It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So don't get caught up in the national politic, ladies and gentlemen. And that's one thing, what we here, and closing this out, pride ourselves on, is that we just want you to do the research for yourself and pick the best person for the job. There's a certain set of policy ideas that skew according to the political spectrum, Ali. So for us, it's going to be streamlining government. It's going to be government efficiency. It's going to be cutting waste. It's going to be, how can we not have duplicative efforts? How can we shrink the size of this bureaucracy that's necessary so that people who need government assistance or government services or the services that we are providing are given in an efficient, timely, and effective manner? That seems to be the right-leaning philosophy from our research and from what we can observe. This is just the reality of it. And unfortunately, Democrats are tax and spend, right? It's tax and spend, tax and spend, tax. So
it's about right.
It's unfortunate. But my point in that was just that, folks, make sure you really screen your candidates. Don't let the national politic get you a bad Democrat locally because you like AOC on the media. Her interview was good and you done saw her 700,000 times. Don't do that.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been checking out the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, with my twin brother, Raheem Soto. Again, the website, tuconservative.com. That's where you could go to support us. Jump in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Is the Democrat Party out there helping us, or are they helping themselves? We'll be back next Monday night. Make sure you give us a like, share, follow, subscribe. We will be in a city near you. So if you go to tuconservative.com, sign up for the free newsletter. That's when you find out when we'll be in a city near you. Y'all have a positive and productive rest of your week. Stay tuned right here to the Urban Conservative, y'all. Peace and love, everybody.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.